Morning, America. Well, Bulls on Wall Street chat room. All right, let's do this, guys. Brad, how you doing? Scott, what's up, baby? What's going on? Jesse King, what's up, baby? How's everybody doing? All right, cool. Let's get started because we got a lot of action to do today. Hey, we got like a mini gap down in the market. There is some news out right now. Futures lowers. Tech stocks slump following U.S. government antitrust blah, blah, blahs. So you may see today, a little bit of a dump in tech stocks. So be mindful, like if you're trying to long Facebook, Google's, anything that's like a monster, like $1 trillion company, be mindful trying to long those because, frankly, you just can't mess with the man. And you definitely don't want to mess with the man behind the man, let alone the man. So you're already going to be in super trouble. So you can already see right off the bat, Facebook's getting a little bit of action down here. It's already dropping about 3 points, which is not a huge deal. It's only 1.5%. But this is this is a development that we will have to keep an eye on for today because there's a lot of gappers today. But if these tech stocks start to roll over, then all of the sudden what's going to happen is just going to put a little bit of pressure on tech in particular. So we've got to just be mindful of that. Now, the good thing is there's more than enough kind of gappers to play here. The data on TC1000 is really acting up right now. So let's just talk about, in general, the watch list. We'll use secondary charting here. So IRBT, you've got yourself on the daily chart, like a big breakdown over here. You can see this thing. It's got news out this morning. You've got a bear flag breakdown over here. I think that this one's actually going to have a chance. If you're looking at it already pre-market, it's starting to just really zest lower. I like this one a lot. Snapchat, you got to break out over highs here, guys. Even though this thing, people claim they don't use it anymore, people are using this thing. They're sending their D's all over to the V's. So you got the D's and the V's combining into this like super millennial hot application where all this zestiness is getting shared. If this thing holds over this breakout over here, I think we're good. If it breaks back under, it's a no bueno. When we're looking at gappers, I want them to hold their levels, right? If it can't hold the breakout, I don't want to be even a part of it. So if it's say at 16 and I see an intraday setup in it, not going to take it, right? I need to be able to have really a nice, I need to have the ability to do shred, right? So you got to just kind of be super mindful of this. Guys, if you look here, there's just stocks just popping up all over the board. Like if you look at the gapper list here, head might be simming. So what you need to do is really, really, you need to order these things. Like you need to rank them and say, all right, what are the stocks that are going to be, my fave? What are the ones that fit my profile of type of stocks I like to trade? And then go with that, right? On the other side of things, TXC, this thing is gapping up on earnings today. Now, it's a 1 billion share float, so I actually got this one, watch for potential fade later on. Usually, stocks that have, this kind of float, they don't hold, a $10 gap. So this one has a chance to kind of roll over. It's secondary at IRBT, which is my favorite. TUP, if you look at the daily chart for TUP, what you will see is, a big downtrend over here. And then this thing is already starting to get shredded in the pre-pre. I like the overall look of this one. ITCI opening up at 920. It had some news out and had a flat bottom breakdown here at 1020. If this thing starts to kind of creep up into 975.10, what I want to do is start looking and leaning into a potential short if I see the pattern. Now that with 31% down, the SSR is going to be on this bad boy. So you don't want to just short this thing into the hole. You don't want to short this thing low. You don't want to short this thing blindly. As you know, if you short lows, use a hose, right? So let this thing boost up into some level of resistance, and then we'll start watching this thing. Overall, it's just got a good look to it. Man, and we got like, there's a pivot point at like 950, and we got some resistance point in 1025. So we got like some different things going on. Cat, pet the cat. So Cat's got earnings out here. They're not showing up on TC2000 for some reason, but let's go over here. Pet the Cat's got a couple different levels to watch here. So first of all, you're sitting on the 50 SMA. It needs to kind of break under this 130 to look short on this thing, but it looks like, their earnings are not getting very well received so far, and you're already down about 5% on the thing. I think this one, look at the, morning trend on this bad boy. I like this kind of look because you can really get a good shred zone on this thing. This one's got potential. If it's at 131, 132, I won't take the short on it because it'll be sitting above support on the daily chart, right? You need to align on all time frames, so it's got to break under that bad boy to really, really get going. And then this TER looks nice. If it can hold, I've traded this a couple times on earnings in the past. You can see this one, its last earnings, so this has been the end of April. It gapped up and actually had a decent intraday range, about $4 or $5. So we'll keep an eye on this one. This is a flat top breakout at this point. It looks pretty good. Definitely want to keep an eye on this one. We'll see how the intraday sets up the float on this one. I'm just guessing is probably between 100 and 200 million. So it's not going to move like 20% today, but it should have the ability to get a buck or two off this thing if you start to see an ORB or a quick pullback buy. Guys, remember, if you guys are unfamiliar with the patterns because you're new, go on the on-demand bootcamp module page. You'll have classes for all the particular patterns. So follow along today and make sure you just do a little bit of study and you'll be good to go to kind of shred these bad boys. And then I've got ACAT IONS. These were like big shredders from yesterday. I got these on watch for potential rollovers for green to reds. They were in flavor yesterday. Now let's talk about like the regular watch list. This Yeti had a flat top breakout yesterday. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 9 EMA curls for the girls under. You've got your old high here at 3680, okay? So if we start to see an ORB on this thing at the open, that 3680 is going to be the hot spot. These things can just spike up right through it, especially if you get like an IPO type of stock. This thing looks pretty good. JD's got a flat top breakout here at 32. We're actually getting a weak open on this, which is good. On a stock like this, you always want to get a weak open and then go red to green. Now, this type of stock will not like kind of have like those $1 or $2 candles. It's a higher market cap. It's 31 billion. So it tends to, like, when it breaks, it'll tend to grind. Nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, heck, Brad spends a lot of time on that app. It's a nice thing. So you can, it'll start to grind and it'll take a while, but it can get going. I like the look of this overall. It's just not going to be one of those ones you come in and you like take your like $2,000 shred in like 5 seconds, like you would on OSTK, right? Like when you trade OSTK, you get 50 cents, 80 cent spikes in like 1 or 2 candles. This is not going to be like that. ZM had a nice hammer candle yesterday. See how like you dipped down below the 9 and you remounted and you closed near highs? That's a very, very bullish sign for, man, that's a really bullish sign for just overall strength in this particular name. I like this name to come out of this zone over here. IPOs are starting to get strong again. This one's going to have a chance. This is top of my list. Beyond Meat, this one looks all right. Like it's going to get gapping up today. I believe I saw this thing at 204. Watch the high from the previous day. Beyond Meat, you can't chase this thing on strength. So like if you ever play it, you got to really get it on like big dips and stuff like that. If you try to get this thing, man, if you try to get this thing low, it always, or I mean, if you try to get it too high, it always, always pulls on you. It's one of those stocks that just got so much range that it fools you into thinking, into buying it too high. So like you're starting to see this thing move. Its pre-market highs have already been taken out. Man, that's going to be a tough trader today. We'll have to see exactly how it forms. I wouldn't be surprised because the earnings are coming up in 5 days to see like a really big run in this at some point of 10, 15 points. But you can only hit this thing on dips. The other thing to remember is its candle's completely outside the upper Bollinger Band, so it's going to have like a little bit of sell pressure on it anyways. And then TTD's down $5 today at the open based on a downgrade. Usually when you get like really strong stocks that are like trending and have good range, and they open down a little bit weak based on a downgrade, oftentimes those stocks can go red to green. So like keep an eye on this one. The dip might get bought on this bad boy, and you could definitely go red to green on this. Good. And then we got a couple others of these bad boys. JNUG is still starting to flag out here. It's actually given good range, both long and short, while this range settles. Like your 90 EMA is not until 75. So you've got room to still fall, but also room to break out. It's just in a box. We'll have to trade and see which way the action kind of shows us what to do. JNUG is one of those stocks that tends to be like more of a reactive trade. You can have like a certain kind of bias on it, and then boom, like it just ends up it just ends up being a dud. Spruce Point does have a hit piece out today. Let me see here. Usually I set notifications on for these guys, so then when they put the hit piece on, I get a text. So just be kind of mindful. These guys usually do put out like good shorts. You can just follow them on Twitter too. This like Spruce Point Cap. They always have like good hit pieces out. They're like Citron, but like they actually come up with some good ones. And then I got PD here, 1 test, 2 test, 3 tests for the short. I think Reed pointed this out yesterday. A break under 45 is really, really important. If you can stay under 45 and build, I think that this one has a potential to be a rollover for a short. Don't fight the tape on it. Like if the market's super strong and this thing starts to remount back over 45, just forget about the short and just leave it alone. There's so many stocks going out that if the market is strong, then we got to flip long and just go do what we have to do. And then I think that's it. My phase for today, Yeti, ZM. And then on the gapper side, IRBT for potential short, ITCI for the green to red, kitty cat here. Man, like it's nice to just play cat. You can sit there all day and just be like, let's pet the cat, right? Let's pet the cat. So this one's going to have a little bit of range. Rhode Island, how you doing? Das vidania, my friend. Privyet. And then Tur looks pretty good as long as it can hold over this level. Snappy Chat's like a little bit tough trader. It's a good swing trader, but like I haven't had that much good luck or good fortune like day trading this thing. It tends to have like 50-cent ranges and it grinds like all day. As a day trader, like we need a little bit more action than that. So let's trade well. Let's go do what we have to do. Guys, be good, trade fast, trade fun.